After years of struggling with nicotine and THC addiction and finally deciding to quit, one of my favorite side effects or symptoms of quitting was actually the increased irritability. And I'm going to explain exactly why that is in one moment. If you're new to the channel, I want to welcome you. My name is Dr. Frank. I'm the founder of AddictionMindset recovery coaching programs, which are dedicated to helping people quit nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and adult media content. To learn more about our free and paid program resources, be sure to check out the pinned comment or the video description at the end of today's brief video. One of my favorite side effects of quitting smoking, quitting vaping, was the increased irritability and the increased anger and frustration that came along with it. Now, I'm not talking about irritability that I had towards my girlfriend at the time or my family members or my coworkers. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the frustration and the irritability that came with me starting to stand up for myself more. I'm talking about no more kind of passive approval of things that I actually didn't approve of things that I didn't agree with. When I was stuck in active addiction, a lot of people would do me wrong, right? I had been done wrong in my businesses. I had been done wrong in my personal life. I had been done wrong in many, many ways. People would kind of walk all over me. And because of active addiction, I was aware of this when I was being taken advantage of or when I was being ripped off with something. And I would give kind of a passive nod of approval. I wouldn't speak up for myself. I wouldn't get frustrated. And I would just kind of say, you know, it is what it is. And then I would go home and I would get high that night and I would kind of forget about it. Or I'd be like, you know, I really got ripped off back there at whatever. It could be at the car dealership. It could be, you know, in a work situation. And I'd be like, or maybe it was in a work situation where someone wasn't really stepping up doing the work that they needed to. And I would just kind of pick up the slack and do the work for them and not say anything. Maybe it was in my relationships when my significant other maybe was in the wrong and I needed to speak up for myself. And I wouldn't. I'd consume nicotine, I would smoke weed, and I would just allow for this passive approval of constantly being stepped on and arguably taken advantage of in many situations. And what wound up happening was this became very, very damaging, not only to me, like emotionally in my relationships, but also financially in my businesses. When I began my career, I have a doctorate in chiropractic, my offices were getting crushed, despite the fact that we had really good services, we're one of the top rated people in the area. We were losing patients left and right. And patients would go see their primary care doctor and they'd be like, don't go see a chiropractor, that's bogus, you don't need that, we're gonna send you to our guy, we're gonna send you to our person. Where in some instances, it was actually just another chiropractor, which is kind of crazy that they, you know, worked with. I just let this happen. I wouldn't speak up for my office, I wouldn't speak up for myself, I wouldn't speak up for my patients, and this hurt our business financially. I had situations with employees where they weren't pulling their weight in the business and I wouldn't say anything. I would just work extra hard to try and make up for it. And I wouldn't allow myself to get to that level of irritability or frustration or anger that was sometimes necessary to drive change and drive, you know, I guess change. This turned out to really, really hurt years into my business. Now, when I quit vaping, when I quit smoking weed, yes, there was irritability when it was inappropriate, when I would snap on someone, when I'd get irrationally frustrated with the situation. But then I came to realize that a lot of that irritability, a lot of that frustration that I had was necessary in many cases because I was getting taken advantage of, because someone wasn't following through on the things they needed to follow through on, because people were dropping the ball on things, including myself in some cases, and giving myself the space and sobriety to even get frustrated with myself sometimes was actually also a really good thing for what that's worth. Since quitting, this has changed dramatically. And this is a trait that I've noticed among highly successful people, high performance people. They don't take any BS. They really don't. They have zero tolerance for it. I noticed this with my chiropractic patients. I noticed this from mentors that I've worked with in business. They have a zero tolerance for BS, and that's a large part of what has made them so successful. Prior to quitting, I think I was always looked at as the nice guy, and I hate to say it, but in a lot of realms of life, the nice guy does finish last. This is just the way it is. Listen, I'm a genuine person. I'm an empathetic person. At the end of the day, I'm a very kind-hearted, very nice person. But not to the extent nowadays that I'm going to allow others to take advantage of me, or that I'm not going to stand up for the things that I choose to stand up for, whether it's relationship related, business related, ethics related. I'm going to speak my mind, I'm going to speak my voice, and I'm going to make it known, especially when it comes to the business side of things, that I'm in charge, I'm overseeing this, and that we're not to be stepped on, that we're not to be that competing with us in and of itself is going to be a challenge for those who decide to try. That's how I've changed, and it's through that irritability and frustration that I get with people that drives results, that drives action. And I wasn't always this way, but I can say now, after achieving years of sobriety, this is one of my favorite side effects of quitting. I'm able to now appropriately express my frustration and my irritability and my anger when I am upset about a situation. Now, if you find that you're someone who's completely irrational with your anger and irritability, by all means, get help for that. Try meditating, try working with a therapist, go to anger management, get help for that. We don't want people just emotionally unregulated running around doing things, because that has very, very bad outcomes. But to stand up for yourself, to put your foot down, and this was very uncomfortable for me when I first quit smoking, very uncomfortable for me to do that, because I was so used to just this passive approval of everything that was happening to me. To be able to do that now is truly a blessing, and it's been a life-changing side effect of quitting nicotine and quitting smoking weed for me. No more passive approval. Try it. You want more self-confidence, you want more authority, you want more control in aspects of your life, you want people to not take advantage of you. Remove those things that are allowing you to be complacent with people doing that to you, and I promise things will change. They'll change for the better too. That I can almost guarantee you. If you like this video, if this is a different twist on things, if that shift in mindset helps you out, be sure to check out the pinned comment to learn more about our one-on-one coaching, our Sober October program that we're launching, or our Kick It support community, or download some of the free guides that we have available to helping people quit nicotine, THC, stimulant products, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the pinned comment or the video description.